And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK Show. And this is going to be episode 356. So I hope you guys had a great day and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK Show, I am going to be having a conversation with Deleted Scenes. And this is going to be his first appearance on the show. So nice to meet you, man. How are you doing? How was your day today?
Doing pretty well. It's a busy day, juggling a full-time job and YouTube at the same time. It can be a bit of a scheduling crunch, but if you plan things far enough ahead, which I'm trying to learn how to do because I'm a bit of a procrastinator.
Yeah.
So I have to. If I don't plan ahead, it doesn't get done. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I know the feeling. When you do YouTube and then you post on social media and do all this stuff, a lot of people just think it's easy and they can just do it themselves. And I always say this, and I've always said this. Hey, if you think it's so easy, then you can just do it yourself. Show me how it's done, as I always say. But since this is your first appearance on the show, and hopefully you will have more appearances on the show later on down the road in the future of the show's life expectancy, we can just get your origin story right out of the way. So that way, when you come back for a second appearance or third appearance, we don't have to do it. We don't have to go over that again because you already covered it. So how was your life growing up? Did you have both parents? Unlike me, I'm black. So as you know, I had no dad. So
I did have both parents. I was born in a rugby scrum. No. No. I was no. No, my father was in the Air Force. My mother was a registered nurse, and
oh wow, okay,
yeah, and they actually met when he was stationed in Japan, and so I came very close to being born in Japan. If my parents had hooked up right away, which they didn't, because the first time they met, it was kind of just like yeah, hi, how you doing? Because my father and her father served together. So they hooked up later, and if they had done that the year earlier, I would have been born in Munich in the middle of the unpleasant situation that happened there in 72. So I didn't get born until they returned to the good old US of A in 73. And fairly normal middle class upbringing.
Where did you grow up in the United States? Which state?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay, so that's where you're from. But do you still currently live in South Carolina?
Yep.
Okay. I think one of our friends, Nate, lives in North Carolina. Man, fucking hell. What's the difference between you two? Is one like more like redneckish and the other one's more like conservative? What's the difference between the two, actually?
I don't know, a border. I don't know.
God, man.
I don't know. Everybody I've met from North Carolina just seems just like me. So, I don't think there's all that much of a difference.
Oh, God. So you said you had more of like a middle-class lifestyle. So how was school? Did you go to public school? Were you homeschooled?
Well, I started out going to private school.
Okay.
For the first few years, where I went, they had basically what was 2 kindergartens. The first one was basically like a preschool.
Right, yeah.
Where basically the main crux of the day was go from home where you can sleep and have cookies to this other place where you could sleep and have cookies. It was kind of weird. Meanwhile, your parents are paying for this. So I started out in a private school from basically preschool till about 2nd grade.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went into public school after that, which was a kind of a bit of a rude awakening, but I got used to it. Because when the private school that I went to, everybody is in one building, and you're talking preschool to high school seniors, and you're all in this one little building. So you have these smaller kids interacting with these teenagers, teenagers being who they are, and everything that goes along with that. And I didn't need to know what happened in the narrated movie because all I had to do was go on the bus and find out.
That yeah,
So,
goodness gracious, it's probably easier for kids nowadays. You fucking just go to X videos and it's all just there. Back in the day, there was magazines, and you just. To be fair, we had to interact in real life back in the day. It wasn't just, hey, our life was just online 24 hours a day. You pretty much like went outside and interact with people. Now you could say
yeah.
people is kind of overrated even from that point of view, but I'd rather interact with someone a little bit more than to talk to them through a computer screen. Looking back at it now, maybe I was always talking to bots along the way.
Yeah.
So
There's definitely a difference between when I was in school and now, because bringing in a computer,
yeah.
period, was a big deal.
Mhm.
And now we've got supercomputers in our pockets, literally.
Yeah.
So tell me that was going to happen when I was when I was 5 years old and a bit of a luddite, and it's like, technology, that'll never be a thing.
Yeah.
Now,
Like,
now I don't.
yeah.
Now I don't know squat. Now I got to catch up. And now I feel like I'm kind of playing. I'm the old. I am now kind of like, the old man who's like, yeah, we didn't have the internet in my day, son. We used to get stoned and watch television.
To be
That's kind
fair,
of where
the
I
other
am.
one does happen. People get stoned, they just Netflix and chill. That they just evolve the way it happens now.
Yeah.
People are getting actually one of our panelists here gets stoned pretty often. He said he has to get stoned to talk to me. So he makes me feel
Wow.
really good. So, So what year were you born?
73.
You're born in
1973.
73. Really? Holy
Yep.
shit. So that means
Yeah,
you are about what, 50 some years old?
52.
52. Okay, so you've been
Yeah.
through the ringer, actually. So are you married, actually?
No. Came close once. Bit of a tragedy there.
Really? Oh shit.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. But see, I kind of feel like I missed my chance in a way. Who knows? Something might change in the future, but
Well, now.
no, never actually married.
Okay.
Came close to one time, but that was it. So ladies, if there's anybody out there, single guy, disease free,
wealthy, tall, rich, good looking, easy on the eyes, charismatic. You gotta just add in all the extra
of
flavors
course.
there. So, but that's the thing now is apparently a lot of people have been having these discussions about like should guys get married or not get married, and all these other discussions with men and women. Men actually get better with age, and you get a lot more wisdom with age too. And to be fair, you don't have to pay like child support or like alimony to a divorced ex-wife who just, randomly you come home one day and maybe she's just like sleeping with your best friend and she just blames you for all her problems. You don't have to deal with that, actually, So do you have any kids or anything like that?
No.
Okay, good.
Sadly,
So
no.
you also get to keep your money too. So there you go. You keep all your money. You have all your hair. You have a good job. And you have a bookshelf.
This is actually a toupee. No.
Oh,
believe
God.
it or not, people are surprised. But no, I am totally bald. And even the beard is fake.
Oh, God.
You see the tip of my finger? Tip my pinky finger right here?
Yes.
That is all that's left of the original me. I used to
Really?
be a short Chinese man. No.
Named Felipe, who used to work at Home Depot. There you go.
Right. It was a horrible gardening accident that that's just best left
You're a
unexplained.
you're a midget Filipino Asian man living in a white man's body. That's what we discovered.
Of course.
Hell yeah. So what did you end up doing as far as like your career wise, or did you just get a job from like your dad or something like that?
I'm sorry, what was?
Oh no, sorry.
Did
you after high school? What did you do? Did you go to college and get a job, or you just went and explored your horizons, as they say?
I was going to go into the military, much like my dad. Although I picked, I wound up going to the Navy because they're the ones that kind of came to me first, and then I had an unfortunate accident during training where I kind of went one way and my leg went the other way.
Oh, that's not
and
good.
no, that's not good. And
That's very bad.
it's kind of hard to go through basic training if you can't walk. So, you
So what
know,
happens in those
I had
scenarios? So do you get like honorably discharged and they
it
pay you or something like
was
that?
it was a medical it was a medical discharge.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, you get a buck or two here and there, but sure, but it's not something I make a big deal out of.
Mhm.
It's like, I was literally like in for a couple of weeks, and that was it. So I don't like walk around saying, "Oh yeah, I was in the military and I did this and that." And I fought the Battle of Mount Baldy all by myself. Like I was killed. No, uh, so no, but it does explain why I can't walk straight to this day.
Good
But
Lord.
you know, um, but
You could have been
you
Professor
take it in
X,
stride. I
but you
yeah,
know,
except
just you had your other leg that was working too. So after all this, you did end up, start living on your own
oh yeah,
and doing
yeah.
good. So that's good. So, and if anyone's saying you can't do it out there, you can, because you've pushed through quite a bit of stuff in your life being 52. So you've been through a lot of highs and lows. So, how, like, because you're older, there's
Mhm.
younger people out there struggling. What would be like your advice for them for like going through like hard times when you're younger? Like when you feel like you can't
Mhm.
see the light at the end of the tunnel, which used to be a saying back in the day.
Mhm. They never told us it was a train.
That's true.
Yeah. But all right. What I say is, never let anyone tell you that you can't do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't write. Don't let anybody go out and tell you that you can't own your own business. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't start your own YouTube channel. Um, don't let the haters get you down.
Mhm.
You know, um, because those schoolyard bully types, they grow up too. And we're kind of dealing with some of those people right now. And don't let these people get you down. Don't let them win. And basically do your own thing. Be your own man, or you know or woman, or whichever one of the 37 genders you choose to be this week. But
Good Lord.
yeah, um
If you're
I
one of
think we're
those,
I
you're
think we're up to
probably
37. I don't know.
if you've at that point, if a girl walked up to me in the Starbucks and she was like, I'm a 37 gender, just throw her out the window. You just don't gotta deal with that. Just you're going out the window. I'd be like, the fuck are you talking about? They just go back. So because you do have a YouTube channel, it's called Deleted Scenes. So what was your inspiration
Mhm.
for starting said YouTube channel? Were you like watching another YouTuber and you were inspired by that person?
I was, and it's kind of an interesting road that I've
Hmm.
taken. Um, I've basically been on YouTube since about 2014, but I didn't really start paying attention to what was going on here until the virus that should not be named, or the coof, or as I like to call it, the involuntary house arrest took place. And so being inside a lot, not necessarily not wanting to be inside, but because everything is fucking closed,
Yeah.
you're kind of stuck inside the house. And I started just watching YouTube, mainly because I was starting to get really bored with what I was seeing on television. When I was kind of starting to see
So I see the
the
light.
wokeness coming into everything. And so I
You
I
saw
I turned
37 genders and you were
yeah,
like, I don't think that's real.
no. So I turned to YouTube, and I started out watching these reaction channels, because they were like, hey, there are people who are watching the same shows that I am. Because there was this one of the first channels that I subscribed to was this girl out of Australia named Marin. I don't know if she's still on. I haven't been able to find her. I don't think she is. But She was watching. She was reacting to a show called Person of Interest, which was a big favorite of mine. It was on CBS. It was on for
I
5 years.
remember the show. Yeah.
A big favorite of mine. Very obviously inspired by the original Equalizer and also Batman, because you can, if you're even half-assed involved with the lore of Batman and you watch that show, you kind of get the idea of who's supposed to be who, you know. And so I started watching the reaction channels, and then got to know a couple of people along the way, and I would say hello to in chats and stuff. And then Midnight's Edge kept coming up on my queue. It says, watch Midnight's Edge. Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind. And watch Midnight's Edge. Yeah, I know, I'm aware. I'm watching it. Days. So I started doing that, and got to where I started to know the crew over there, and the first time I was ever on the air was one of their member streams.
Okay.
Yeah, and by then they now had Tom, but I'd been watching them from back before they had Tom, when they still had Kevin. And they still had Jesse Miller and that whole group. So it's way back, and so I started to get to know people and network, and got onto a couple of shows as kind of like guest panelists. And Jesse Miller used to have this show, and this is back before he went exclusively to gaming. He used to have this show where he would take unproduced screenplays, and he would do them as radio shows, basically kind of radio shows, act them out. And I ended up doing one of those programs, and it was the Batman 1983 script, the Tom Mankiewicz script that eventually became 89. And it was this early version that still had Robin in it. So, and I got to play Robin.
Okay.
And along the way, there were some other people on the show. Gary Kissel, who's Pop Culture Minefield, I got to meet him. And he said, you have a voice. You should start doing your own content on your own channel. And during that same show, I met a guy named Matt Allen out of the UK. He lives here now, but he used to have a show called Saturday Serial, and he invited me on as like a guest host.
Really? Okay.
And it kind of all snowballed from there. I did 37 episodes, something like that, like 37 episodes, either as the guest host, the co-host, and then there are a few of them that I did on my own when he was making his move here. And it kind of went from there. And I decided, it's time for me to just start my own channel.
Mhm.
And kind of went from there. And, 3 years later, here I am.
So that was around, you said 2020, when things were on lockdown and you discovered like the Midnight's Edge kind of crew. So what was the do you remember the year you actually started doing your own YouTube channel? Like, was it like 2022?
Something like that, yeah.
So you've been doing YouTube for about good 3 years,
23, something like that, yeah.
Oh God.
Mhm.
She's like, ask him to do his voice. No, because that would be really cringier. We're not losers, actually. We're men. So it's one of those I don't know, because you said you were hosting a show. I think people really always underestimate how the ability to host a show actually goes, right? So when you host a show, for a lot of people who don't know this, you actually have to be entertaining. I know, crazy. You actually have to be entertaining. You actually have to know what you're talking about. You actually have to know a lot of different things, or you're going to be one of those people where if they do have a show, they're only going to be having a show on that one specific thing, So like when I wanted more people here on the shows. I didn't want just a specific person for one thing, because it's good to have people on that know about more than one thing, because you can talk about more than one thing as far as topics come up. You know, like the news cycle comes up and there's more
Mhm,
things to talk about. I was like, hey, the more we are diverse in topics, we can have more conversations when these things come up, and we can use them for videos, obviously. Because like back in the day, when I first started doing this, my big problem was like, hey, well, we only kind of really know, like the people that I had on were only really knowledgeable about superhero stuff, and that
mhm,
only extended into movies. And then after that, you'd have like the news section of all that stuff that would happen. And then after that, it'd be like, well, Star Wars. That's like always a given. And then after that would be like maybe a insert franchise here and there in some game. I'm like, no, we need to have like people that are like wide variety knowledge about a lot of stuff. I'm not saying you have to know everything about everything. I'm not saying you have to know everything about every subject, but you can't be one dimensional, because that is just going to be not something that's super like sustainable if you want to have a show more than one episode, right? Like, wasn't there like
mhm.
a podcast statistic where it came out, I think, back like the year you said you started, or like 2020, where it said most podcasts that start only get to like episode 10. They said like, I don't know, fucking 40% of them only make it to like episode 100, something like that. So like, yeah, when you do this, there's a lot that goes into it. So I know that some people can do it solo. You know, some people can have fun with that. I kind of can't, unless I'm doing it on my comic book channel where I'm doing that show, because that one's easy. I can do that solo. If I'm doing a game stream, that's easy. I can do that solo. But if I'm gonna have a podcast and talk about this kind of stuff, I need someone to like somewhat bounce off of, because
Mhm.
you know it makes it a lot more interesting of the conversation, and it makes it a lot more interesting of a dynamic you have with someone. And if you have a really good connection, that person comes back, you do more like movie reviews or TV reviews or game reviews or whatever together. So I find that building it is a lot more fun. Also it has to take the right personality too, because I know you say you've been doing it for a while. You gotta have the right personalities on this show when you're doing something, because if you have certain personalities that are way too ego driven, or ones that are basically, they think that they're the star of the show, even though you kind of run the show, then it just doesn't work. It has to be, it's like a marriage, as you said. It's got to work. You got to have chemistry and synergy. If you don't have that, well, that shit's terrible. That shit's gonna just end. So that's why, like, for me at this point now, if you're on, it's because you got some good chemistry and synergy with me, and we can actually have a good conversation, even if we disagree. People always say I don't like people who disagree with me. That's not true. I don't care if you disagree at all. But then again, I like just having a conversation. I don't even like when people play devil's advocate on certain shows. It's like, hey, if you're not really like in that position, if you're not really thinking of what that is, you're kind of, it's like weirdly disingenuous to argue from a place that you're not even wholeheartedly into. I never do that. I don't really ever play devil's advocate when it comes to conversations like that. I just have conversations from stuff that I know, and how I feel about this specific thing. So that's kind of how it's been over here for us. But then again, your channel currently right now, I remember you are close to hitting what specific goal you're trying to hit before the end of the year, or you're already done for hitting your goals this year.
Well, it's not going to happen because there's not enough time. I would really like to hit 5,500 subs before the end of the year. Um, you know, probably not going to happen. But I'm happy with I'm happy with the subscribers that I have. I'm very surprised.
Yeah, because you've accumulated what,
I've been lucky.
5,000 subscribers? That's pretty good.
5,250 some odd. Yeah,
It's pretty good,
as of this
actually.
morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So yeah, um, I've been I've been lucky. I've had a few videos go viral over the years, and that just got some extra eyes on my channel that I might not have ordinarily had. So,
Mhm.
that's the thing, is that you never really know what's going to hit with people. You know, I can sit here, all day long and try and come up with some kind of, big master plan, but I don't really have one. You
Mhm.
know, um, you know, I always say that. Thank you, Enigma. Yeah, He's
Oh,
one of my supporters here.
you got the
Eh,
Heath Ledger Joker profile picture. I love it.
yeah,
Delete its facial hair. Can run the show without him. Good lord. Good lord.
probably
Hey,
could.
mine can too. Honestly, some people say you could fit a chia pet with my hair. Honestly, but those people are usually trying to roast me, and that never works with me. Tree Rock Creations. Hi chat. What's up, man? How are you doing?
Hey, Drew,
Sashi
our man from the
44
future.
4440. Yes, she says
Yes.
greetings and salutations, as they say in the those movies that have like European actors. They would always be like cheerio. It's like, huh?
Mhm.
But what's crazy is in my life, if you say that around someone, they'll be like, "What the fuck? You're just too lazy to say hello." That'd be mostly the reason, actually. His goal is to finish a book, and he asks us to hold his feet to the
Yeah.
fire. So what
this is it's a funny story, because I'm somebody I used to my goal was always to like finish a book a week,
Mhm.
because I have enough books that I can start my own library if I wanted to.
But isn't reading for nerds and losers? That's what I always
Yes,
heard.
it is for because nobody likes people who are too smart.
That's true.
They have to be, you know they have to be hammered down, for the geeks that they are. And no, so I used to read quite a bit, and like I said, what with a full-time job and now YouTube, I don't always have the chance to do that like. And one of the things that I tried to do to solve that issue was I was going to start a read what you own challenge, and I went on the air and I had all of these rules that I'd set for myself and all these goals,
Mhm.
and I didn't do shit. So I'm trying to kind of reinstate that a little bit, and maybe kind of not be so hard on myself, but maybe just pick out certain books that I can finish within a certain period of time. Yeah, so he's kind of talking about that, because I did like a whole episode on that, a whole video on that where
I
I
am
was
a
like,
nerd and a loser. That's why I'm here to support a fellow nerd loser. Holy shit.
yeah,
So I was
we
looking
turned out to
through
be the cool people.
a lot of your videos. So you like to
Uh-oh.
cover a lot of movies. Movies is your main topic that you cover. And so what's your favorite genre of movies though?
Good ones. No. Uh,
Okay. Well that to be fair, that's easy.
yeah. Um,
And not porn. Not porn movies. Okay, that doesn't
no,
count.
no, not porn. We absolutely do not watch porn here at all. In fact, we don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that
And
is either. I'm not a porn connoisseur, and I do not want to do a top 10 porn actress of all time. And I'm not a top 10 sex positions of all time. Would never do that. You know, I'm
no,
not
that
really a
would probably
chocolate enjoyer either,
get
but
us thrown off the air. you know. Um,
okay, we gotta draw my stick figures though. But that's actually horrible. Holy crap. Also, you guys know I'm not a chocolate enjoyer, if you know what I mean. But so let's
so
just start.
as you see here,
Yes.
he enters from here. No. No. Okay.
Oh god.
All right.
So we'll start with this.
Mhm.
What would be your top 10 movies of all time? Not in any order, just 10 off the top of your head that you
Hmm.
could always go. Tell me that these are instant classics. These are rewatchable no matter what time of the year, no matter what time of the month.
Mhm. Citizen Kane is, as far as I'm concerned, the best movie made before I was born. Um, Best movie made since I've been born, Pulp Fiction.
Mhm.
But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is really good too. Let's see. The original Star Wars, and by original Star Wars, I mean before they put all that Chapter 4 New Hope stuff, and it was just Star Wars and the despecialized version. I'm talking about the theatrical versions, guys. Um, that one, I've probably seen that movie more than any other. Heathers, two movies got me through high school:
Okay.
Heathers and The Breakfast Club. Those are big favorites. Um, then the 90s hit, and I started getting into the Asian action films. John Woo, Ringo Lam, The Killers, one of my favorite movies. Um, that's those are a few. Um,
What would be
LA Confidential is another really
okay?
good one.
What would
Yeah,
be like a movie that you would consider overrated that a lot of people like just beloved?
overrated. Gone with
I'm
the Wind.
okay. What
I
about
think
like
it's yeah.
what about Titanic?
I have a love-hate relationship with Titanic, in the
Mhm.
fact that I remember when everybody went to go see that movie in theaters 4 or 5 times, if not more.
Yeah.
And then those same people are now coming on to, places like here to go, "Oh, no, Titanic sucked." That you didn't think so back then, and I know
At
you
one
didn't
point, that
because I
was
was
the
in the
highest
theater
grossing
with you.
movie.
Um, it's a movie I have kind of a like I said, kind of a love-hate relationship with now because I can understand why people don't like it, you know, but at the same time, I'm not gonna hack on anybody if they didn't like it. But, at the same time, if you watch it and you still love it, great, because, I mean, technically, it's a hell of a show,
Yeah.
to, go and recreate that. That was not easy to pull off, especially and then you gotta think in 1997, that was, like, the height of visual effects at that time. It was considered, groundbreaking, you know, and Cameron he was with it. He seemed interested. It seemed like he wanted to, explore. He had the Terminator and like I said, Titanic, True Lies. Um, even though I'm not a big fan of the movie The First Avatar. Now he just wants to make Avatar movies for the rest of his career, and I'm like, it was the wrong way to go because I wanted to see what he could do with like a small kind of like independent character drama.
Mhm.
Really, you know, Titanic, Terminator, that's all well and good. Okay, you know how to do the light show. Take it down and show us how you can make a smaller movie. I think that would have been a really interesting way for him to go from something like a Titanic to, or even Avatar, because people love the first one for whatever reason.
I don't
But
it's such a
y-
weird movie. The first
yeah,
Avatar movie, it made all this money and people like very few people will even tell you who the main character was.
nobody
Don't
remembers it. That's
don't
the
remember
thing.
his name. Like it's crazy. That movie and the sequel that came out like what 20 years later made like so much money, but these are
Mhm.
movies that no one can explain what the hell happened in these movies. You just going it's literally those movies quite literally are the definition of going to the movie theaters, paying a bunch of money to sit down and turn your brain off cuz I couldn't for the life of me tell you what the fuck is up with that first movie. So, the first movie because I
Mhm.
did watch it a few times. I could tell you what it's about, but it's so basic and boring. Like these are plots already done in other movies. You already have like it's like Fern Gully, Dances with Wolves, Pocahontas. So if you've seen like those movies, then you've seen the first Avatar movie. It's like humans invading a place they shouldn't, and they have to get them out, and they fight them. It's pretty much it. Like like Sigourney
Mhm.
Weaver was in it, and I know Michelle Rodriguez was in it. Other
Mhm.
than that, I couldn't. All those blue people, there was tall blue people, and they were having sex. Um, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. If you watch Pocahontas, you pretty much seen Avatar, and it made that much money. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow. That's what I want to tell to any director out there. If that movie can make that much money, being basically kind of inspired, as they say, because call things ripoffs, people get mad.
Yeah.
It's inspired by Fern Gully and Pocahontas. Your movie can for sure do better than that. And Avatar 2, I don't even know what that one was about because I didn't go watch it. Because I remember they were always asking about Avatar 2, and he was always like, "Yeah, we'll get to it. I'll get to it eventually." Took that mother took what's it like? What 2010 to 2022? That's like what 12 years to get to a sequel, and now we're
Mhm.
getting the third movie faster than we even got the second one because he was like, oh my god, these make a lot of. I truly think he's only making them, despite what he says, because they finance his other movie projects in the future. Like that's why I think he still makes these. Because what
Possible.
other reason is there to make these? You know, because the first Avatar, as you know, was an advance. It's like all the CGI enhancement, like
Mhm.
advancements we were going through. It was the 3D craze. You know, every movie had like 3D at the end of its name. Back in like what shit? It's like what the mid late 2000s was like the 3D craze and everything. Thank God
Mhm.
that kind of toned down
Yeah.
enough, you know, having to go to the theaters and just wear 3D glasses like this and you take them off, you're just like, oh god, this is like looking at my wife naked if you're married too long. Oh god. So
Yeah.
Wilkie, what
Hey,
Wilkie's?
Corey. Wilkie's Movies and Music.
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? So I want to ask you, because Jaws had its 50th anniversary
Oh, yeah,
not too
Jaws
long
is another
ago.
good one. Yeah.
How do you look back on
Um,
that movie now after 50
oh,
years
I love it.
anniversary? Yeah, great movie.
I just went to the revival. I saw the 50th anniversary in the 3D and all of that. And if it had, this is the thing that's interesting, because I've seen a couple of revivals this year of movies that
Mhm.
went back 40, 50 years, Jaws being one of them. If Jaws had never been made before, if it was coming out this year as is, I would say it was the number one movie of the year. I think it's second. Reanimator would be number two.
Mhm.
You know, because it's just, I had more fun in the theaters this year watching these movies that were reissues, that were, restored versions, reanimators, like a restored 4K version,
Mhm.
you know. Um, that's how I feel about it, is that the reason why we're seeing these older movies come back, and again, went back to the time of the involuntary um, house arrest. You have the theaters being closed, and when they did reopen, and there's no movies for them to show except, Tenet, you know, and
Yep.
then eventually you see Tenet and you go, well, that's fine, but what else you got?
Yeah.
Like just to go off on a tangent for a moment.
That's fine.
There's an art house movie theater in Charleston called the Terrace, and what the owner of that theater did to keep his theater in operation was he created a drive-in theater in the parking lot, and he put a screen up on the side of the building. It put a projector in this gazebo that was outside, and said, and he's showing Back to the Future, Raiders of the Lost Ark, um, Empire Strikes Back, he stayed in business, you know, and even a couple of the drive-ins came back for a little while, you know. You had a question.
No, no. I was gonna say,
Go ahead.
when people said their drive-ins were coming back, we've always had a drive-in out here in my city. We've always had a drive-in. I don't go to it because you have to have a car for that. But people still go out there and watch movies like that. It's not something that I've did since I haven't been to that drive-in in like 2014. The last time I went was when that Scarlett Johansson movie came out called Lucy, and we did a double feature that night. It was for like my mom's birthday back in the day. It's like a year before she passed away. Fucking crazy night. We watched Lucy. It was a
Mhm.
weird movie. Then we watched
Yeah,
the second. Then
it
we
was.
watched the second Planet of the Apes movie in the new four movies. The new one that started with James Franco. So we
Mhm.
saw the second one because I already seen the first one,
Right.
and I was in Planet of the Apes. Oh, that original looks a little outdated, but it's a really awesome movie. It's a very awesome thriller movie right there. So if any
Oh yeah.
younger whippersnapper, as you call him, goes out there and watches that movie and goes, "Oh, it's outdated and not good." I'm like, hey, nah, that movie, you look
Yeah.
back on it now, it's like, hey, a little outdated for the fucking costumes and special effects, but good movie, very
Yeah,
very
it still
solid movie.
works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still works. Yeah, the one I didn't like was the Mark Wahlberg one. That was just, ugh. God, that was terrible. That was
Yeah,
like
that
just bad for
that
that
missed the
time
point.
period. Yeah, and I understand why they took like basically a decade break until they made the James Franco one, which was very good in my opinion. I think that was an awesome movie. The second one was very good. Never got a
Mhm.
chance to get around to watching War, but
Not
or
me
the
either.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I only just watched the first two. And people were ragging on the second. I was like, the second one's this is a good movie here, but I
Yeah.
think it's because fucking hell, the guy who directed the Batman directed that one. Oh my god, fucking hell. The guy who directed the newest Batman movie with Robert
Um,
Pattinson.
Matt
Oh my,
Reeves.
Matt Reeves. Yeah, Matt Reeves
Yeah.
directed the second one because they got a different director between the 2011 one, the 2014 sequel. So, but something that is coming out next year, Scream 7. So are you a Scream enjoyer? Did you like the first Scream movie?
I did like the first one. Yeah. I was a little later to going to see it than other people did. So
Mhm.
by the time it got to like the dollar theaters, that's when I finally said, "Okay, I'll go and I'll see it." And it's a good movie because I don't look at them as slasher movies. I look at them, well, even though they obviously are. Um, I I I kind of attacked it from the mystery angle of it as I am busy trying to figure out who the killer is to kind of forget to get scared. It's also because I don't scare easy anyway. So it's a guy with a knife is not going to scare me. I'm just going to be shoot him. That tends to work. Gun beats
Yeah.
knife,
Yeah.
movie over. You know. Um yeah, you got to get pretty hardcore to really scare me or get under my skin. Um,
Yeah, for me, it pretty much when I found out most of these movies are
mhm,
well, because with horror, the way because that's always the common thing about horror movies. I don't want to get scared. I scare easily because my mom's always say it too. It's scary. Once I realized in my head it's all acting, it didn't affect me anymore. I was like, wait a minute, this is all fake. This is not actually happening. Then I just went. I've honestly never been so like with horror movies. The way I review them, I
mm,
grade them off of because acting is usually pretty fucking bad. Most of the time, it's pretty bad. Outside of like the insert one here and there that's actually above and beyond, right?
mhm,
I usually grade them off of like killers, if the killer's pretty interesting, or motivations of the killer. Setting. I think the setting for a horror movie really, really matters depending on where you're at. And I do think the atmosphere around the horror movie works a lot too. So I look at horror movies a little bit differently for most people, I would say. I grade them off different things. Because like people say, oh, the acting's bad. It's like, okay, if you want the 90th horror movie's acting to be good, you're just trying to find a needle in a haystack. I just go in knowing it's not gonna be good. And if it is good, then I'll see like, oh, it's probably pretty solid. But no.
mhm.
It'd be like if you went in to watch Wrong Turn going like, oh, yep, quality Oscar level acting here. No, you're not. This is people running from just like what disfigured mountain men. I
It's
think
unapologetically what it is, and I actually like the first Wrong Turn quite a bit.
I actually rewatched it not too long ago. It's very
Yeah,
good. It's actually
it's pretty
very good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
It's just after the second one, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. It just after the second one, they kind of just lost their brains. Well, then
yeah, that's
again,
what. Yeah.
you could say they lost their
That-
brain at the first one, but the first one, very, very solid horror movie. I
it's
really enjoyed it.
solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
what's crazy, that's what I would like in a horror movie, like Wrong Turn. The first one, people should take notes about. People don't look at it as this like beacon of horror, like cinema. But before you even saw what they looked like, the actual brothers, the Mountain Men,
Mhm.
they built it all up. They were killing off screen. It was vicious. The way they killed the girls were all, that one couple was off screen. They did it. They would use
It's pretty vicious.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then when they're in that house and the killers are driving up in that pickup truck, and then they drop the girl right when they're all under like the beds. It's like, oh my god, it's such a. I
Yeah.
I look when I first watched, I was like, man, this is like, all right, this is like it's like one of those movies you watch and go, okay, this is just you watching it for the stupidity of it, but
Mhm.
you be watching like, okay, there's some actual like style here. I could get what they were going for.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be a franchise like you said. I also don't think you need an end credit scene because that just you want to tell me that okay, I don't know how the director is trying to convince people that what's the name? Three Finger, that was the main one, right? how
Mhm.
he managed to live, but the other bigger ones didn't. That doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah,
All right.
because I just took it as, okay, they have to put they always got a sequel bait. There's gotta be, that
Yeah,
one
yeah.
last little jump scare. But what really got me when I was watching that movie, because that character is basically, and they even say it in the DVD commentary, so I'm not talking out of school, um, because they consider that the one that lives at the end the mother of the group, and he
Okay, yeah.
kind of is. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and then when I realized who that actor is, and that he was somebody I'd actually seen in a bunch of other things, I'm like, oh shit, he's that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Kind of a little way to go, playing this, being going from playing this kind of character being this kind of character actor guy to,
Mhm.
no, I'm just going to play this mutated, mountain hillbilly guy in the middle of nowhere. That, all right, that you do you, pal. That's
Yeah.
great. Let's go for it. Um, so yeah, Wrong Turn's definitely an interesting one.
It was also
Yeah.
interesting because most horror movies, you could pretty much go, okay, you guys can actually just go and beat that guy. I don't know why you're scared. I don't think most average people would be beating those guys because not only are they skilled hunters, some of them are. Two of them were like big, muscular,
Hmm.
frightening looking. So you're automatically gonna start running. They were in a setting where, like, the part in a horror movie where you get that super despair, like hero maybe can't come out of this, was when they were in that area outside of that house, and then they're like, wait, well, this is a lot of people's stuff here. Oh shit, they've been doing this for a long time. They're skilled at this. We're fucking screwed. That's when you
Yeah.
know shit hits the fan. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be victim number like 100.
Yeah. When
God, I love stuff like that in movies. It's always fun.
yeah, the best, the ones, not necessarily the best, the ones that really either do genuinely scare me or get under my skin are the ones where, quite frankly, the killer gets away with it.
Mm.
And I have this thing called, I call it death by corrosion. It's just this sense of dread of you are in a situation that you are not going to get out of it. And one of the movies that I always use as an example, because it's the last one that I saw that really scared me, is this movie called the Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Never heard of that. Huh.
uh
Okay.
it's it was, yeah, it had kind of an interesting history. It was supposed to come out in 2007,
Mhm.
and there were, like, every movie theater had posters up for it. The trailer used to be before every movie, and then it just disappeared. And then it showed up, like 7 years later before it actually got any kind of release.
Mhm.
And when you see the movie, you kind of understand why. And I don't say that was, oh, it was so god awful that it wasn't releasable. No, it's because of how messed up it is. And the killer is just so calm. It's like the most horrific thing is, he's doing the most horrific thing imaginable to somebody, and he's treating it like a Tuesday.
Mm.
I
That's
just felt
yeah.
like killing somebody today, you know?
And that's how, to me, most horror
Yeah,
movie villains should be. It should be like that. You should get that sense of like, this guy is actually insane. No need to
yeah,
deconstruct this guy and then find out his backstory and then figure out that he's some misunderstood kind of person. No, if you kill two people by disfiguring them and eating their body parts, probably not someone I want to know the backstory of. Probably better left just ambiguous. I
yeah,
feel like that's a problem with a lot of movies is they get in, like, nowadays it gets into this point where they're just trying to deconstruct a lot of things about characters that never needed to be there. It's like, leaving some mystery there is good. It creates theories, it creates discussion. Like, one of the biggest theories and mysteries around a lot of movies, like specifically this one, is The Thing, right? The ending of The Thing
mhm,
has created theories and mystery and conversation for years. Like, you should have that. Having a lot of, like, ambiguity around it is fun. It creates a lot of nice conversations. Like, oh, I think this is the real ending based off what they said earlier in this movie. And then people go back and rewatch and go, okay, maybe this character said this, so that maybe it's what happened here. I like that. That
Yeah.
creates a lot more mystery, which is, you don't really get that anymore. We get fucking hell, every bit is deconstruction backstory bullshit. Oh my god. And it's not even good. It's like the backstories are not even good. If the backstories are good, I'd be like, all right, but most of the stuff is just varying degrees of quality, let's just say, these days.
Yeah.
I.e. M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie, Trap. That movie sucks balls. Good lord, that movie stinks. Good lord. So I'll ask you, because you mentioned wokeness earlier, what would you consider a woke movie? Like Ghostbusters 2016?
That seems to be patient zero. I didn't even bother to see it. It just seemed to be this kind of general kind of holier than thou attitude that certain people seem to have, and when I was first starting to see this pop up, it's and it was of course on Twitter, it's like hashtag woke, hashtag resist,
Yeah.
and I finally, and the way I kind of approached it was this kind of, excuse me, old guy over here. I'm not really down with the lingo like young whippersnappers are. What exactly are you resisting? And it was like everything that I don't like. And I'm like, get used to it, kid. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of part of life, there's going to be things in front of you that you're not going to be happy with. Ignore it and move the fuck on, but there just seems to be this attitude out of Hollywood, and it's not any one movie, because if you look real close, you'll start to find them in just about all of them, especially like the mainstream films, especially. It's like and good night, Miss Sparkles.
Yeah, good night, Miss
Yeah.
Sparkles. L, as we always give her here, but we call her Miss L Sparkles. That's what I do. Getting with women is easy at my age. Back in my day, it was way harder, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Back is thrown out now.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, so I equate it to, and it kind of hit me after the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing was going on, just how kind of deep this runs, especially in
You mean the recent
Hollywood and
Jimmy
the
Kimmel
mainstream.
situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one, a lot of people had different degrees of takes on it. Even people here. So it was pretty much what I gathered was three different camps. People apparently want free speech, but these are the same people that couldn't give a damn if another person was silenced or canceled or banished off of a platform, right? So like right after that Jimmy Kimmel situation, we had YouTube actually was going through a lawsuit, and it was revealed that they, suppressed information from the previous presidential administration, which was the Biden administration. And what's crazy to me is that they potentially knew that was happening, but they didn't care. But these people care about, free speech. And it's like, okay, I'm glad you guys care about this, but could you care about it for, I don't know, everyone, not just Jimmy Kimmel? Because I don't think Jimmy Kimmel really did anything that bad. I think it was just a stupid, tasteless joke. But if your employer doesn't want to employ you because of that, then that's going to vary on what they actually, consider acceptable as a joke in the workplace, So it's going to depend on what they actually want their company's image to look like, because it's ABC and Disney. So, they're all in on that fucking bullshit these days. So then you had, I forgot that one organization, they started getting involved, and it's like, why are you involved in this kind of thing? Like all of it was just weird. Because like these people, like, it's like these Hollywood stars. You remember that thing where they all apparently like signed this, like, we signed this letter saying to Disney that if you don't reinstate Jimmy Kimmel, then we're not going to work for you. And it's like, I don't know if you actually know this, but movies these days, actors are not the main draw for them anymore, which is kind of sad because that's
Yeah.
kind of the main reason why you go watch any movie is the actors, because you like the person, you like the actual actors or actresses' quality of acting. But recently, actors and actresses haven't been the main draw for movies. Even the biggest movie stars in the world aren't a draw for movies anymore, right? So I find it just kind of funny and hypocritical that they're batting this hard for Jimmy Kimmel when they found out literally 24 hours later that this was going on with YouTube, and they're pretty silence. So it's only speech that they care about. That if that gets silenced, no, you can't have that. But if it's everyone else, if it's not one of our Hollywood buddies, it's like, all right, good Lord. That's why it's just all disgusting virtue signaling to me. All of it's virtue signaling. It's just like, hey, look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Everything that I do is morally justice and righteous and great and hopeful and optimistic. But anything you do is hateful, bigotry, homophobic, Nazism, all that stuff. So everything you do is bad. Everything I do is good. It's like, it's a weird way you look at life. But that's from obviously a Hollywood celebrity point of view, which is, completely out of touch. I mean, Kim Kardashian, I remember there's a video. She said she didn't even know what the cost of a gallon of milk was. I was like, okay. That's how you know you're out of touch with life. It's like the basic necessities you would probably need, you don't even know the prices of. That's how you know you're just completely removed from life at that point, I tried to find him.
Oh yeah.
Office. What the? Just don't pay attention to her. She's just clout chasing. So, but
it's in the chat.
Because
it should be.
Recently, you've been seeing the box office numbers for a lot of these movies that come out. Like, movies are flopping, and like not just even flopping. They're not even getting close to breaking even.
No.
Like Predator Badlands recently came out, and I've seen the first 4 Predator movies. I haven't seen Predator, the anthology animated one that just recently came out, but Predator Badlands actually had a really good opening weekend, considering it was supposed to be $35 million with lower projections, and it actually opened to $80 million opening weekend. So actually, it did like 5 times better than what it was originally supposed to. And then in week 2, no movement. It like to even get it to break even, it would need like what, $200 million. It might not even hit that. And then just before that, before Predator Badlands came out, remember the October box office? They said that was the lowest October box office in 3 decades.
Yeah.
That means ever since you were like 22 years old, there's never been a Halloween box office year that bad. That's insane.
True.
That's really bad. Like, and you know me, dude. I would love if every movie made a lot of money because it would keep the industry alive despite how many bad things they do too, right? I don't want movies to fail. I don't want movies to flop at all. But
no, me either.
We have to, and people hate on me when I point out, it's like, dude, I might have liked this movie, but this is how you know average film fans are fucking retarded. Just because you liked a movie does not mean it performed financially well. I would like it if both are true, both are the case, but now it is not. Like Superman, the recent Superman movie that just came out. That one did not perform good at the box office. I know that number might look impressive, but it didn't perform very well. Warner Brothers, I can almost guarantee, wanted like $900 million minimum for that thing, and it got $615 million. Insane. So movies are barely breaking even these days. Profit, well, who needs profit? We just need to just lose, honestly. That's how it just kind of works here. So what do you think about what do you think is the main reason why movies are just constantly flopping and not even getting close to breaking even anymore?
Well, there's a number of factors. Number one, really the chief one being is these movies are too expensive.
Yeah.
And even some of the more independent movies are sometimes too expensive. What you have to take into consideration is the fact that they may tell you how much the initial cost of a movie is. They don't tell you how much money went into marketing. So that's kind of another problem, is when you have a movie that is going to be let's say, for example, the movie gets made for like 120 million. And then you go and you spend times two marketing the movie, and then you have to deal with the fact that you have actors that mouth off against fans. Or maybe it'll be, okay, the movie is just a bad movie. People are going to ignore it. One of the reasons being is that the theater prices themselves
Skyrocketed.
are
Yeah.
skyrocketed.
Mhm.
I'm lucky because I'm on Regal Unlimited. The one reason I can afford to really go to a movie is I'm on Regal Unlimited, so I pay one flat rate at the beginning of the month. Then I go see, like, 4 movies, and it pays for itself.
Yeah.
But I know that not everybody does that. You could spend up to $100 between taking like a family of 4, going to a movie and then going to concessions. And there's a number of factors.
Well, the other one to add to your point is given the aspect of streaming that exists now, streaming has made it easily available. It's made it
Yeah.
readily available for the consumer to just wait. Because before COVID, people knew streaming existed, but streaming didn't really affect anything. Streaming
Mhm.
was only really big for like TV shows, really. Ever since COVID, people have just kind of been like, well, I know movies are only going to be in the theater for like 3 weeks, so they'll just go, oh wait. Like they've literally pretty much
Yeah.
trained the consumer to wait
To wait.
for the blockbuster. So if you tell people, hey, if you just wait like 3 weeks and you'll see the movie on your streaming service, they'll wait. There's no real,
Mhm.
like, they've pretty much told the consumer, we don't value the theatrical experience. Why should you? They, like in non-verbal form said that too.
Yeah.
Like Bob Chapek did that when Bob Chapek took all those big Pixar movies that cost way more than $100 million to make, put them all on Disney Plus for free. That told families, why should we go to the theaters to watch these? They'll just be on Disney Plus. Oh God,
Mhm.
oh God, that's probably the patient zero precedent for that. Taking big blockbusters and throwing them on your streaming service, and just Warner Brothers. Remember day and date streaming back in 2021 where they had
Yeah.
their entire movie slate just day and date. It's like, you guys don't even care about the theaters. You're actively just trying to get rid of them as fast as you can.
I made it a point to go and see Dune on the big screen.
Mhm.
So I went, knowing full well, okay, I can just go right back home, watch it on HBO Max.
Mhm.
It'd be fine. And okay, and I did, sure, but there's no incentive there to go to a movie. When I was a kid, let's take, for example, let's pick a good year, 1982. Every week was a banger, no matter, I mean, even the movies that were kind of terrible compared to today were still good. You were guaranteed every week there was going to be a whole new slate of movies, and that somewhere in there you were going to find at least something that you were going to like. And you don't have that anymore. That's the problem. It is that, again, we have been trained to wait until a movie comes out on streaming or on digital, and you can just watch it at home. There's the theater prices that are just too high. You have the fact that you got most of Hollywood, not everybody,
Mhm.
but a lot, being very vocal in saying that, hey, you know what, we didn't make it for you. And then they bitch at us when we take their advice and don't go.
Or they're making movies that are sequels or prequels to franchises that you would
Yeah.
ask yourself, was there an audience for this anymore? I know there was an audience for this at that moment in time. Or like the new Tron movie. I'm sorry, I'm never like the hugest Tron guy, but was there a need or a want for another Tron movie? Like when you actually like ask
Not
people
really.
these things, like, was there really
Yeah.
any need for some of these newer sequels? And keep in mind, you can always use that for, do we really need any movies? Obviously, yes, but it's one of these things where you they need to make more calculated reasons and have a lot more logic behind it to actually finance and make another sequel or prequel to like an audience that's huge enough to actually come on and go support the movie, because it sounds like they're just making prequels and remakes and sequels to franchises that don't really have that big of an audience. And then they're
Mhm.
going like, why didn't no one show up? Well, that's the audience that showed up. The very little of it that exists, because it was always little. Maybe like being on the internet made these things look a lot bigger than they do, you know? Because like there could be these fandoms that look a lot bigger online because that's just what the internet does. It distorts like your perception and reality of what is. But maybe there's not that many fans of that actual franchise.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it, you know? So if you're gonna make a sequel or prequel or remake to a franchise that's doesn't really have a lot of fans, then you can't be surprised when there's just not much money there to support it, right? That's a logical business decision, right? You know? If I'm making like ice cream sandwiches and my ice cream sandwiches have my shit in them, and I go, damn, why didn't people eat these ice cream sandwiches that had my shit in them? Well, they don't want to die. Okay, I get no money off that. You know, maybe a more of a graphic example there, but I'm pretty sure that works.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. There is no incentive to go, and you have a number of different reasons as to why it's the death of 1,000 cuts, and they're doing it to themselves, you know, and that's why I always make the big deal on my channel about supporting the independent creators, you know, because that's where it's at right now. They, you know, and I get it, and we always get accused of being grifters, you know. And maybe there are people who make money being here on YouTube. I'm not one of those people. I'm just a guy. I'm a guy in his living room sitting on his couch with a laptop. That's it.
Really? Oh, I'm a rich guy in a big mansion with 5 strippers in the back room of there. They're gonna blow me after this is
Well,
over. You know.
send them over here when you're done, please.
Oh,
But
good.
you know,
I think you might get in trouble for that.
you know.
Also, they don't
But
exist. That's just my couch, honestly.
damn
So.
it. Oh well. You know. But the thing is, it was good to meet you, Cindy. No, no.
Shaniqua.
Oh,
So now you like the black one, so we got to give you a Shaniqua.
of course. So, you know, but the thing is, lost my train of thought. Damn it. I was going somewhere with that. Where was I going? No, but it's the death of 1,000 cuts, you know, and they think that people are going to keep coming back for these sequels and these reboots, you know, Moana being kind of the main one, a live action version of Moana. The animated movie just came out like what,
The
6,
sequel.
7 years ago?
Yeah, the animated one, the first one came out like I think what 2018, something like that, around that period, like the mid, you know, the early 2020s. Moana 2, I know, just came out last year. Because I was surprised people forgot. They had already announced they were going to do a Moana live action a long time ago, but we had just seen nothing of it. Come on, I would have to go watch Moana because, come on, I'm not a 5-year-old girl, so I'm probably, these movies are not going to be on my radar like they used to, obviously. But it's the same thing with the How to Fuck Your Dragon remake. It's like, do you really need a How to Train Your Dragon remake? The animated one's perfectly fine right there.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
mean,
reason.
and I saw the live action version of How to Train Your Dragon during a watch party earlier in the year. Watched straight through, gave it its due diligence. It's well made, but it's pointless because it's just the animated movie over again, just with CGI and a few people in it, you know. And it's, you know, it just comes off like a cash grab.
So
And
for
that's
me,
all a lot of these movies are. They're cash grabs.
the way I look at it is they don't actually have respect for actual animation. Well, and what I mean by that, people always get it wrong, is they think that live action is superior in every single form of facet, whatever, right? They look at animation, like that original one, as like for kids. Like, no, that's for kids. This is our prestige live action one right here. You know, it's like, hey, I always tell people this. I do not care for movies live action or it's animated. If it's good, and I like it, fine. I don't care which format it's in. You know, this kind of mindset that if a movie's animated, that means it's just for kids. It's just stupid. This is ridiculous. There's plenty of great anime, like Who Killed Jojo Rabbit, or sorry, Who Framed Jojo Rabbit. Awesome movie. It's animated to a certain extent. You know, some live action elements to it, like a mixture of both. Fun movie right there. You know, lots of great animated movies out there. Not like, you know, like anime animated movies, but like, you know, just movies that were just in the animation format, you know? But yeah, that's my problem too. Same thing with the How to Fuck Your Dragon one. It's like, if that's going to be the exact same thing in animated format, why are you wasting the money making this? It just, and they want to say they're going broke, or like they don't have any money, or they can't make certain sequels to movies. It's like, well, how about you how about you actually make good financial decisions on what you make next? If you already have the animated one that does the exact same thing as the live action one, why do you need the live action one? Who knows why? And now you're apparently an animated character.
Yeah, that's
oh yeah, right. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Good lord, that's how you know I'm old. That's how you know I'm old at this point, guys. I'm just fucking old. God damn it, you know. So
yeah, we know what you meant.
Oh god, but so apparently a girl is under the desk blowing you currently, right?
Yes, actually, of course, always. I have.
Yes.
My channel's pants optional, folks. No.
Hey, I was by that motto, actually. But I know you have to head out of here in a little bit, so I'll ask you a few more things before we head out. The first thing is, do you have anything planned coming up for the rest of 2025 going into 2026 that you would like to let the audience know about?
All right. Well, I do have a number of weekly shows. The longest running one is a show that I do Sunday nights at 8 Eastern called Unscripted. And it's my chance to kind of put my 2 cents in on any given subject. Sometimes it's a rant, sometimes it's funny, but always entertaining. At least I hope. I'm told it is. You know, I'm going to do my 131st episode this weekend, so I'm looking so you know, that's one program. I do a show called Reserved Seats, which is used to be a show that I used to call The Other Side of Midnight, because I used to do it after midnight, and then my schedule changed to work, and I have to work on Mondays now, so I can't stay up past midnight. So now it's an 11 o'clock show called Reserved Seats, and I'm going to have my friend Outlaw Bill, who I co-host 2 shows with over on his channel, Action Theater and Western Cinema Presents. He's going to be my guest for my show this week.
Okay.
And I do a show on Tuesday nights. I actually do 2 shows on Tuesday nights, but the main one is a show called Live from Sparkwood 21, which is a retrospective of the Twin Peaks television series. And we're taking a hiatus until the holidays. But we are going to be back next year with that program. It's 8:30 on Tuesday nights. I, of course, have the Mystery Movie Night podcast that I do with Sin's Corner and Wilkie's Movies and Music, Kyle Corwith, and Off the Cover. And we're trying to recruit D Movie Man as well, but we're working on that. But
don't worry, man. I'll work for free.
Yeah.
I'll work for 2 bags of Funyuns and a Hershey chocolate bar, Hershey with almond chocolate bar, and a Sprite.
Done. So, yeah. So that's actually before it's 7, and yeah. Action Theater that I do with Bill. That's Thursdays at 4:30. And this week we're going to be tomorrow afternoon, we are going to be watching Centurion from 2010 with Michael Fassbender. Lots of action, lots of blood, lots of if you like Sisu, this is kind of like a Roman Empire version of Sisu. You just take out the old guy and you put in Michael Fassbender and you got your movie. And yeah. And also, speaking of Sisu, I saw the sequel this week. Go see it. It
Hell
rocks.
yeah.
Yeah.
So before you go, what the
Mhm.
last thing I wanted to ask you, the person that was here earlier, the guy who looked like he was an accountant with the background. This guy, let me get his name right here. Oh yeah, Will Wilkie's movies and music.
Ah, yes.
Gonna have to get me in touch with him because his DMs are off on Twitter, unless I message him on Instagram, which would be that'd be the only way, you know.
Mm.
Or I would have to comment on one of his posts on Twitter. So just let him know if he gets a message from a hot, rich, good-looking dude. That's me. It's MSK. You know,
Okay.
emphasis on the white and rich. You know, that way he's like thoroughly surprised when he sees me. So,
Of course.
last thing I'll ask you, man, is do you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone in particular, and anything else you want to say before we head out?
Shout outs. Well, there are definitely some people who I would not be here without. Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge,
Mm-hmm.
Paulie Latino Slant. I wouldn't be here without him. Even though he's no longer on YouTube, Matt Allen, thank you. You gave me my first opportunity to do a show. Of course, Troy Pacelli, Netter's Network, Aged Boomer, Outlaw Bill, and so many people. The people are always in all of my chats, like Connie, who's here now, JPRPH1.
Connie. I know
Yes, Connie
I've
Clary.
seen Connie before. Yeah, she's from
Yes.
Netter's Network and Troy's
Mhm.
side. Yeah, she left me. Connie, you left me like my dad. How could you? How could you?
Come back.
Uh,
Come back,
yeah,
Connie. He misses you.
they always leave me.
It's, uh,
Even though they'll say
damn
they'll
it.
come back. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
Uh,
I'll be okay.
oh God. I can't cry. I'm just too a hearted man.
Okay.
God.
And
I
scene.
I only cried after I had sex with my wife and she said I wasn't big enough. That's how it happened. Good Lord. You know, I walked in on her one day and she was banging my brother and I just had a heart attack. I'm actually not currently here at this moment. I'm currently in a
You're a
different
hologram.
dimension.
You died.
Yes. You know, I'm actually I've been reincarnated as a white man in a black man's body, actually. So, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. It's awesome talking to Deleted Scenes on the show for the first time. Can't wait to have him on again for a second appearance sometime down the road, you know, when more movies come out that I'll have to have watched that he's definitely for sure watched so I can talk about them. And, you know, we haven't, and next time we come on, we got to cover some more stuff we didn't get a chance to cover because there's a lot of movie franchises we haven't got a chance to talk about because, you know, don't have that much time because I got to go get some stuff done. And, you know, the wife's calling. I got 4 baby mamas. All the babies are diapers are full. They're shitting everywhere. Good Lord. Ugh. Being a black guy with 5 baby moms, just seeing them was right, man. I'm just that's what we are, dude. But yes, we'll see you guys